Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Thursday, August 30th, 2018. Let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. I know we end up saying this every year, but when you look at it on paper, the way this top 10 is shaping up for the 2018 Olympia looks like it could be one of the better groups of athletes we've seen in the last few years. And that's without factoring Josh Lenartowicz into this year's equation. After deciding to take the entire season off, the Aussie giant has finally been starting to show some signs of life again, including an insane back training video he dropped over the weekend that showed him knocking out some deadlifts with more than 600 pounds for reps. And the crazy year he had a season ago makes you feel good to see that this guy is in a great space both physically and mentally now. And once he's ready to go at it again in 2019, I'm predicting that he comes out of the gates firing with the best Josh Lenartowicz the world has ever seen. All of my former track and field athletes out there know what I'm talking about when I say that there's no feeling in the world like those last few seconds right before the gun goes off. And now that she's literally right up against the gun for her first appearance on the Physique Olympia stage, I wonder if division superstar Natalia Coelho is starting to feel the pressure. Last week we saw one of the front runners for this year's title cranking out a few reps during one of her last shoulder workouts before the big dance. At this point it feels like most of the fans are looking at Coelho as someone who has all the tools to be a 10-year champion in this division. However, she'll be facing off against another unstoppable force by the name Shanique Grant. But if she ends up walking out of the Orleans arena with that title in her hand, we could be looking at the start of the most dominant run of any champion that we've seen in the history of physique sports. To quote the legendary Michael Jeffrey Jordan, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So I guess it's a good thing for him then that classic physique standout Dani Younan is already putting up shots before he's even stepped into the arena. This week we saw the CEO of Team Younan drop another round of updates to give his fans a look at the grade A conditioning that he's bringing to his first Olympia weekend. If you're not one of those classic physique junkies, then you probably missed the clinic Younan put on earlier in the year in his win at the Fit World Pro. So if he comes in with anything even close to that level of detail, this guy's got a shot to make an argument that he deserves a first call out. You know, in all my years of covering these Olympias, I don't know if I remember a current 212 Arnold champ not being one of the major topics of conversation heading into the show. But something tells me that being overshadowed isn't one of those things that bothers a rock-steady guy like Kamal Elgargni. True to form, the Lion of Libya has been out there killing it completely under the radar and putting himself in position to make another silent run up the leaderboard. Elgargni is one of those guys who can get you in trouble once he's standing next to you because he really doesn't have any major weaknesses. So if he times his peak right and shows up at 100%, this is a guy who could easily be a top 5 finisher before this thing is all said and done. During his 2008 presidential campaign, Barack Obama said he wanted to keep his campaign headquarters in the city of Chicago because it was real and represented the grassroots effort of his campaign. And if you look at this year's Figure Olympia lineup on paper, you won't find too many girls who are realer than 2018 Chicago Pro Champ Julie Waring. Earlier this week, Waring and her team released a new clip from a back workout as she starts to make the final preparations for her big push to the stage. Out of all the athletes in this year's lineup, Waring is one of the few who's coming in relatively unknown. But a lights-out performance on the biggest stage in the sport sure does go a long way towards helping people recognize your name. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.